Alright, so here we are. We're Words About Bonnaroo, presented to you by WordsAboutSounds, based out of Bloomington, Indiana. We're just here today to talk to you a little bit about some of the artists on the Bonnaroo lineup for this year, and basically let you in on some information as just a reference, if you will, for if you're planning on going, maybe to have some new acts to check out. One of the first bands we'll start off with for you today is the Black Keys. Black Keys out of Akron, Ohio. They're really, really great Mississippi Delta blues rock, type band, which you wouldn't expect out of a Midwestern area that they're from. I actually happened to go see them last year at Bonnaroo, and their live set is just absolutely great. Their live performance is just there. They're into their music, and they're really dedicated to what they do.
What's that? The latest album is Brothers.
Latest album is Brothers. They actually just won 3 Grammys for Brothers, and I don't recall in which categories, but they did win 3 Grammys, so that says a lot right there. One of the couple singles off that album could be Tighten Up, as well as
Everlasting Light. I've always
Everlasting
liked that
Light
one.
was another one.
Unknown Brother.
Unknown Brother. One of my favorites off that album happens to be Sinister Kid. I think that has a really gritty sound to it. Of course, I've been a big fan of their music for a long time. Dan Arbach has a solo album out called Keep It Hid. This year in Bonnaroo, they actually have this thing going on called Super Jam. They've had in years past. Basically, it's a collaborative effort of multiple musicians to be able to get together and play music together.
This is at Bonnaroo?
At Bonnaroo, yeah. They've had it before. This year, it's with Dan Arbach, the lead singer of the Black Keys, and Dr. John, an old funk musician, kind of a funk, jazz, pop type feel to it, from the 70s. Really, really neat stuff, if you ever get a chance to check that out. If you're going this year, I would really recommend checking it out.
Is this the Dr. John?
That is the Dr. John. Old man,
this Dr. John is a character.
with a beard.
This looks like this is going to be a phenomenal
show.
I was thinking we can also kind of, if we want to actually put it in real pictures, but yes, he's a...
Should we cut the music?
Tiny picture.
Or is that still going good?
Turn it down a little more.
Let's see, so the Super Jam is just Dr. John?
Dr. John and Dan Arbach, they're going to be playing together.
Okay.
So it's going to be
and Arbach is the lead from Black Keys?
Is the lead from Black Keys. It's actually just going to be just 2 guys who don't normally get to play together getting on stage and just jamming out. So.
Totally separate from Black Keys.
Oh, yeah, totally separate from Black Keys. Totally separate from any of the projects that Dr. John has done. Just, getting on there, jamming out. I think it's going to be really, really cool. Both are great musicians. It's going to be able to showcase the blues rock genre very, very well. Extremely excited to see that.
Do they do that frequently at Bonnaroo? I mean, I've never been.
It's happened a few times in years past. They didn't do it last year when I went. But they did have it in 09, and I think a couple years before that. 06 was another one.
I mean,
who have they done in the past other than this one they have doing this year?
It's not necessarily just 2 people all the time. Like a lot of times, it's a lot of random people that go together.
Yeah, it's like a jam session for anybody who I guess wants to do it. I mean, it's prearranged, but
I mean that's a very intriguing aspect to bring in, like you said, musicians who don't normally get to play together. I mean, having 2 great musicians would be awesome, just to be able to collaborate with new sounds, new ways of thinking about how to go about making the songs. I mean, I find that intriguing as hell. Like, I would love to hear Red Auerbach and just anything with anybody else, I guess.
I think this is completely random. I think it'd be cool if the Black Keys released an album where they only played like sharps and minor, like Black Keys. I thought that was like honestly a I don't know, staple of their.
It was like their gimmick.
Yeah, their gimmick, like the Black Keys.
That's awesome.
That's a thought, I guess, that they can take it or leave it.
Go on.
I was just gonna say, I think one of the most mind-boggling things about seeing them live is the fact that typically only two people on stage, and the sound that you get when you're listening to it is just, you would never expect that two people could produce a sound that, I know the sound's so good.
So do they really?
It's full, it sounds full.
Yeah.
For the albums, their recording process, it's Pat Carney on drums, or Patrick Carney, I should say. Dan Auerbach.
Any relation to Matt?
No, I don't know. No, different.
That would be sweet.
That would be cool, but
I would
basically,
like that duo.
it would be interesting.
Whatever.
But I don't think it's spelled the same. But anyway, they write, produce, and record everything themselves. Everything you hear on Brothers, everything in past. Rubber Factory is actually a standout album for me. One of my favorites. It was their first live album. They literally, what they do with Rubber Factory is they actually got access to an actual rubber factory. It's a factory that manufactured rubber, and they set up a studio there. And if you listen to the recording, it has that hollowish, empty sound in the background to it. It's them recording a live set.
Are the walls made out of rubber?
I don't think the walls were made out of rubber.
They just have like
Maybe-
a bunch
maybe
of
they
rubber.
had-
I imagine
Yeah,
rubber,
but-
like the whole thing was rubber and like maybe that's good. You know, I don't know the acoustics that would.
And that's why I say if you check out the album, the acoustics, because it's such an open, it's like this huge facility. That's it reflects in the recording. It's a more raw sound. It's grittier. I really enjoy listening to it just because of the production aspect of it and the sound quality.
I mean, now that you mention that, that makes sense with how the set, like you were saying, it's kind of a gritty, more hardcore sound, and it makes sense that you say that it was recorded in
a rubber factory.
exactly. Like you can tell that after hearing it. I would never have known that they would have done that.
Yeah, it's a really neat one. So if you're going to Bonnaroo this year, I would highly urge you to check out the Black Keys and then Super Jam with Dan Auerbach and Dr. John.
Take my